Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. I'm in the process of reorganizing the bottom part of my pantry, which is where I have all of my big totes. You know those black totes with the yellow lids? I have totes like that all over the bottom part of my pantry holding various things. I was going through all this stuff and I'm thinking to myself, this would be a great video to give people ideas on some things they may want to get once they have all of their regular preps put together. For example, once you have your rice and beans taken care of, once you have your medical taken care of, once you have your self-defense taken care of, these are some great items that you can get extra of in order to be able to barter or just to have as a backup to your backup. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go one by one and show you all of these extra things that I've gotten throughout the years. And I think they serve a very useful purpose in my preps. And these are things that I got extra of in order to have a backup to my backup. Because remember, 1 is none, 2 is 1, and 3 is definitely better. And these are some things that you may want to think about getting to add to your preps if you have all of those essential items that you already need in order to survive a prolonged crisis. Extension cords. Anywhere from the cheap ones like these, I believe I paid about $1.50 for these a few years back. As you can see, I just have a few extra sets, to the heavy duty ones like these. These I actually got a great deal on. I got a set of 2 of these 50-foot extension cords, and I believe these are 12 threes, which is 12 gauge, which is a very, very good wire. I got a set of 2 of those from Costco's a while back for $50, which is a great deal for this. But ladies and gentlemen, think about this. If you have a generator or a solar generator, whatever kind of generator you have, or let's say that you don't have a generator, but your neighbor does, you may be able to barter with your neighbor for a little bit of electricity, and you've already got your own power cord. Not only that, I think these make a great barter item, number one. And these are great for you to go ahead and connect some lights inside the house, some low power devices. These are not heavy duty at all. These are 16 gauge, which means that they're not very heavy duty, but they will handle 15 amps, which is what you're looking for right there. So power cords. Extra spouts for your gas cans. What if you have a gas can where the spout breaks and you don't have a replacement? This one is self-explanatory. Candles. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got these candles dirt cheap years ago from a thrift store in Washington State when I was stationed there. I also ended up getting these at a Walmart when they were on sale a few years back as well. Fire making material, ladies and gentlemen. Matches. These are dirt cheap. You can buy a whole bunch for almost nothing. I ended up buying a while back 3 of these boxes for $1.99. So that's 900 matches for $1.99. And a small tip, if you want to make these waterproof or weatherproof, all you have to do is take these and dip about the first inch of that match in wax. Let it dry, and then it'll be waterproof. Lighters, ladies and gentlemen. Different types of lighters. These are just your regular lighters that you can buy at the store. Well, you can buy these at the store too, but this is like a torch lighter that's pretty much windproof. Okay? So lighters that are refillable like this one is great, because if you have several of these, not only can you barter these away, but stock up on butane. That way, when whoever you barter that lighter to runs out, you can barter a refill on that lighter. I agree with what some of you are saying, that we should also have a ferrocerium rod and other methods in which to start fire, and I agree with that 100%. However, whenever I want to start a fire, it's because I need to start a fire in a hurry. It's not just because I'm playing around, right? Especially if you're trying to get home. Something happened and you need to start a fire. It means that you're probably cold and you probably need to start a fire in a hurry. So why not take the easiest route first before resorting to using methods that take up more of your energy to start a fire? So fire making material. Sewing materials. Now, if part of your main preps include a sewing machine, then obviously you're going to want to have plenty of good quality thread. Okay. Also, if it doesn't include a sewing machine, then just make sure that you get yourself the best sewing kit that you can afford. If this is the best sewing kit you can afford, there's nothing wrong with that. But get sewing material. There may come a time where you have to mend your own clothes because you can't just go buy it, or because maybe it's too expensive for you to go buy it. In addition to that, get yourself some patches. If you have a waterproof jacket or a tent, you can get some patches to repair rips or holes in a jacket or a tent or even pants. Mosquito and insect repellent. During times of crisis, if you can't get to a doctor or a hospital, you really want to make sure that mosquitoes and insects are not near you. And you do have to work in your garden, you have to work outside, etc. So having something that will deter mosquitoes from getting on your skin and maybe giving you some kind of infection or some kind of disease is probably a good idea. Waterproof bags and some kind of a signaling device that you can keep either in your vehicle or as well as in your home. You never know when you can use some kind of a signaling device for whatever emergency. Waterproof bags of any size and every size that you can get. These are just some really nice heavy duty waterproof bags that I got with some oxygen absorbers that I purchased a while back. But anything as simple as a Ziploc bag, I would recommend the freezer types because those are a little bit sturdier than the other ones, but get several sizes. That way you can keep things in there that you want to keep dry if you have to be on the go. Now you all know that I like my flashlights. I think that you ought to stock up on as many cheap flashlights as you can. One of the things that I was asked for a lot when I was deployed to Afghanistan was flashlights and batteries. I just don't think that you can have enough flashlights. This is probably 1/5 of the number of flashlights I own. Hand warmers. Any of you that have ever had cold hands and knew you were going to be outside for an extended period of time, hand warmers can be a lifesaver. They can also be used to put under your armpits, to put in between your thighs, to help you get warmed up a little faster, to put in your shoes and your toes. If you're in a sleeping bag and you have your shoes off, you can put some of these in there towards your toes to help warm you up. I used to do that when I was deployed as well. I used to get into my sleeping bag, without my shoes, of course, and then I used to throw a few hand warmers in there, and it helped to warm up the entire sleeping bag from the inside out. In addition to that, hand warmers can substitute, do your own research, ladies and gentlemen. I've done this before and it's worked. Hand warmers can substitute for oxygen absorbers. If you have a 5-gallon bucket of something that you have to put away and you're all out of oxygen absorbers, you may consider using a hand warmer as well, and it will work. Propane canisters, ladies and gentlemen. Whether or not you own a propane stove, one of those little camp stoves, I think you ought to have some of these. These are very barterable, and you should really consider getting a backup to whatever cooking system you use now in the form of either a camping propane stove or a butane stove. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this to rest right now. A lot of people always say, where do you store your propane? Well, you all know that I have a fuel tent in the back of my yard, and that's where I have almost all of my propane along with my excess fuel that I keep for emergencies. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. A lot of people say that you should never store a propane canister inside your home. And this is going more to apartment dwellers. Now, do your own research, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you right now what I do and what I've done. Like I said, people say you should never store propane canisters like this or even the 20-pound tanks in your home. But ask yourselves, when you buy these, where do you buy them from? For example, I bought these from Walmart years ago. Walmart has these on display on their shelf indoors. The way I figure it is, if Walmart has these indoors on display, then they should be safe enough for me to keep indoors as well. And these, just as a matter of fact, just happens that these have been stored in my pantry in a tote for as long as I've been living here. So like I said, do your own research, do what you're comfortable with doing. But if I lived in an apartment and my landlord was telling me that I can't store these, and I know that that's the only way that I would be able to cook or heat something during an emergency, I'm not sure whether or not I would listen to my landlord. All right, so in addition to your self-defense tools, make sure that you have extra holsters for your self-defense tool, right? And you don't have to pay a lot for them, ladies and gentlemen. That was another thing that was very popular when I was deployed, was holsters, right? Now, I just happened to get this holster for free. So you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money, all right? If you know someone that doesn't need a holster anymore, offer to buy it from them for a really low price. More than likely, they'll give it to you, especially if they're your friend. This is how I got this one, because my friend didn't need this anymore because he didn't have that tool to put in there anymore. So he just gave it to me. Another thing, some extra magazine carriers. A lot of people don't think of this because they just take their everyday carry tool with them, and they don't think about having extra magazines just in case, because you know what they say, there's no such thing as too many bullets in a firefight. Another nice thing to have is a way to make sure that you keep your firearm attached to your body. Now this is specifically meant for the Beretta M9 A3 that I have. And what this does is it attaches to the Beretta, and then I attach this to my belt, to my battle belt. Okay, that way if my side tool falls off, it will still be attached to my body. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I have to say too much about this, but get as many of those as you possibly can, because number one, they're not getting any cheaper, and number two, there just happens to be a shortage of them. But not for me, because I got mine last year during the sales that they had for the holidays. So if you go ahead and attend a holiday sale at like a Sportsman's or a Dick's or a Cabela's or something like that, if they have sales, take advantage of them, even if times are plenty. When I got these, there was no shortages. There was more than anyone could really want. Now you can't find them anymore. Once you have the knife that you like the most, for example, you all know that this is my favorite everyday carry. It's a zero tolerance knife, and it's a bit pricey. However, when I purchased this knife, or I didn't purchase it, I got it as a Christmas present about 3-4 Christmases ago. This knife was only about 70 bucks. Now it's 150. However, even at $70, ladies and gentlemen, it's more than what I paid for all of those knives put together. So if you can afford to get extra things after you've got all your preps, a great thing to have more of is just not the cheapest knife in the world, but a good knife that is less expensive. Now these knives are pretty much brand new. Actually, they are brand new. They've never cut anything with my hands or anyone in my family's. I purchased them not because I needed them, but because I knew that eventually they would go up in price, and this is a great item to have on hand if you need a cheap knife that you don't care about breaking. And wouldn't this make an awesome barter item as well? All right, so I have a few things over here, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people don't think about having extra belts. Now, this is not a battle belt, although I was issued this belt when I was in the Army. This is just a regular uniform belt. So this is not to be used for heavy duty stuff, but extra belts. This would be a lifesaver for anyone that had fungus in their feet, all right, athlete's feet. This is something I had a very long time, but this is just a little GPS device that allows you to find coordinates. And you all know that there's 1,000,001 uses for zip ties. I recommend that you get a lot of them, as many as you can, and also different sizes and different thicknesses, different strengths. This is self-explanatory, ladies and gentlemen, but get yourselves plenty of seeds. In my opinion, you should have more than what you think you need. I would say that you should have enough seeds to plant 3 annual gardens, just in case you lose one to floods or whatever, you have extra seeds. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, get as many batteries as you can. I tend to go towards these Duracells because they have a 10-year shelf life. And I have used regular Duracells, not the red ones, but the black ones. And they've done very well after several years of just sitting in a tote, right? But get the ones that you're comfortable with getting, that you can afford to get. What I would say is not to stick to the real cheap batteries to store for long term, because those may not last. For example, these Kirkland brand batteries are supposed to be just as good as Duracell. I've used a couple so far and they did very well. And they say that they have a 10-year shelf life. As you can see here, it says 2028, right? Best if used by 2028. But I know that these work. I know that these last a long time. So I bought a few packs of these because they were on sale for a really good price. And I'm going to go ahead and test these out too. And if they last past a few years, I may buy some more when they're on sale again. In addition to that, make sure that you guys go ahead and get yourselves some rechargeable batteries. And don't forget to purchase the stations that recharge your batteries. I think multiple stations and a lot of rechargeable batteries are a great idea, because if there is a grid down and you have a solar panel and a solar generator, even if it's a small one, you can still charge these and still have batteries to use once your regular batteries have run out. And lastly, don't just get the batteries that regular electronics take. Make sure that you get batteries for everything that you have that needs batteries. Get your specialty batteries now, put them away. That way that you know you will have them when you need them. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. Thank you very much for joining in today. I truly do hope that you got something out of this. Leave in the comments section anything that you guys put away for long term that wasn't on this list. That way we can all learn from each other. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you very much for joining in today and spending a few minutes of your time here today. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper. I'm out.